Another brick fan here with a look at an Architecture Skyline. This is Tokyo, Japan. This is set 21051 and was released in January 2020. Has 547 pieces, no minifigures, and cost about $60 when it was released. The Skyline includes the Tokyo Tower, the Mode Gakken Cocoon Tower, Chido Riga Fuji Park, the Tokyo Sky Tree, Shayuba Crossing, and the Tokyo Big Sight. It also includes a look at Mount Fuji there in the background. If we start on the left-hand side, you see that there's a pagoda built up in the green tile and gold cone piece up on top, which is a feature in front of the Tokyo Tower there. The Tokyo Tower itself the base is built up of red fender pieces, which is a nice reuse of that kind of piece. It's actually done in kind of an upside down build manner on the top there, kind of in the middle, where you see when it transitions from the square plate there, that is a 3x3 plate, into that kind of column that goes up in the red and white. I think it looks really good and makes for a very nice effect. The Cocoon Tower here is done with these slope pieces that have been around for a long time. They have the 3-step of the slopes that you can maybe see a little bit here in the build. Of course, a bunch of cone pieces and studs there are used in between those printed slope pieces and make for an accurate representation of the building itself. So right there in the middle, Chido Riga Fuji Park is there in the middle in front of Mount Fuji. I like the use of these new plant pieces with the 6 stems on them, and then the pink flower pieces to represent the cherry blossom trees. Looks really nice with a couple of little trans blue pieces there to represent a pond or some water. Next to that is the Shayuba Crossing, with all of those really colorful buildings, and that's done in a lot of the trans pieces, both with some grill pieces, some studs, some cheese wedges, and then a few printed pieces as well, like those rainbows there. Looks like these solar panel type looking pieces here, like a little map representation. There's even a rounded 1x1 tile here with some printing on the top for the roof of that building, and of course this kind of like caution symbol printed on a trans orange piece. A lot of really interesting and unique pieces there to make up the Shayuba Crossing. Down here in the corner is the Tokyo Big Sight, and once again this is done with an upside down type construction. So we have the main pieces here, and then this just sits on top. You see it has these pyramid pieces done in the trans colors, and then a kind of a honeycomb pattern here, and then those just fit together for a nice effect there. A really interesting building technique. This last big tower is the Tokyo Sky Tree or Tokyo Skyline, and it's done with a variety of different pieces. So there's these flexible pipe pieces, several of those around, and they just fit right into this inverted cone piece here. I think that's very cleverly done. They're clipped down on the bottom, as you'll see when we turn it around. Then we're using the cone pieces, and then these are the new candle pieces that we saw in some of the Harry Potter sets over the last couple of years. Turning it around to look at the back, as you can see, you lose a lot of the detailing, of course, but you can see how these are clipped in here, these little pipe pieces to make up the sky tree. You get a nice look at how the Mount Fuji silhouette here is done, and I think you get a much better look at these printed honeycomb pieces. I think those look really good on the back of this model here. There are 3 of them to make up the Cocoon Tower. The back side of the Tokyo Tower looks pretty much just like the front side. It's a very symmetrical looking tower. Kind of Eiffel Tower reminiscent here on the very bottom, and then kind of moves on into a more rounded or traditional type tower piece. The overall look of this skyline is very good. I think the colors are very vibrant with the red and white Tokyo Tower, the very white and black, good contrast on the sky tree. I've mentioned that cocoon tower many times. I like the cherry blossom trees. I think those are really nicely done, add a lot of color. And of course, the Shiuba crossing is bright and colorful. Gives you real representation of a lot of lights and color, and you can just imagine some sound. There's some printed tiles down there that look like crosswalks, making it feel more like an area where people walk around and visit all of those shops. The Tokyo Big Site is a really interesting build with that inverted kind of technique, which I thought was really fun and interesting. Overall, a really nice looking skyline set. Hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this skyline. I'm going to get started on my next video. Until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this skyline review, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to see more of my content. I've left a link to my architectural review playlist up here on the screen.